We were headed to a city called Guiyu, where the main industry is dismantling old electronic equipment known as e-waste. On the way, we passed through another town, Nanyang, where we could already see piles of electronics on the side of the road. Every single one of these yards, you can see people dismantling computer parts. Kid right here helping his father. They're burning some of these parts. The concern over e-waste revolves around the potential toxicity of certain electronic parts, which may contain lead, cadmium, mercury, and other hazardous materials.
We're interviewing Homer High School chemistry and science teacher, Mr. Shank. We're going to ask you a few short questions here. Lead, mercury, and cadmium are three elements that are found often in electronic devices. How do these negatively impact wildlife and humanity when we leave them in landfills and allow them to enter the environment?
First of all, those are considered heavy metal poisons, which once they get into your system, they stay in your system, and if they are allowed to be in there long enough, can build to a toxic level. And typically, with lead and mercury, they affect your nervous system, so you actually become mentally ill and unstable, and eventually will die from it. So, if you put them in the landfill, they'll eventually work their way into the ground, which means they'll eventually work their way into the wildlife, which means we could eventually consume them. If we consume the wildlife, consume the fruits, vegetables, all that stuff. So it'd just be a chain reaction type thing.
Would allowing these chemicals to combine or mix together make them more potent or lethal?
I really wouldn't know for sure. It could potentially, because it's concentration is what you're worried about, and if you put them all together, the concentration levels would be potentially high enough to create problems at a faster rate, probably.
In some nations, such as China, we ship our electronics and they dispose of them by burning them. So what are the negative impacts of disposing of lead and mercury by setting them on fire? Are harmful gases released through this reaction and process?
Potentially. I'm not familiar with that process of burning. I know if we burn anything here in the United States, if you just throw stuff out and burn it yourself, you are causing pollution. And anytime you're causing pollution, that could create totally different issues out there. Whether it's lethal or not, that I don't know, but to me, if you're burning that stuff and it contains lead and mercury, you're creating compounds that contain lead and mercury in them, and who knows what the effects of that would be down the road.
And you're also the advisor for the student council here at Homer. So do you think the school or student council would ever consider a local initiative to begin recycling used electronics?
It could be something well worthwhile to explore. We're always looking for things for our groups to do that are community-based, community-oriented, and that would be a good project perhaps to start pursuing down the road. Educating people on the fact that your cell phones, iPads, iPods, what MP3 players all contain these products in them, the lead, mercury, and cadmium that could eventually get into your systems. So it would be a worthwhile topic to pursue.
Thank you. That's all the questions we have for now, and thanks for taking the time to answer our questions, Mr. Shank.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're here with Homer High School technology teacher, Mr. Skevich. We're going to ask him a few questions about technology in the schools. Mr. Skevich, when technology wears out, what happens to the school's old technology? Is there a company that takes it away, and what do they do with it?
There is a company that takes it away. They collect it at the end of the year, put it on pallets, and have to wrap it What they do is they take all the parts out that they can take out, they take the mercury out of computers so it's recycled properly, and then it's disposed of. Recycled metal, everything else just gets recycled and they can recycle.
And we're upgrading to a new school building soon. What will happen to the leftover technology and electronics in the old school building when it is demolished?
Some of it will be going over to the new building. I'll be pulling multimedia projectors and all that kind of stuff out. Will be used as spares and also be taken down into the elementary school. Some of the other stuff will be recycled, just like I stated before.
Does the school ever purchase used or second-hand computers?
We do purchase refurbished computers, so they come directly from Dell or whoever else we get them from. They've been redone, ready to come out, so it is a little bit cheaper for us instead of buying brand new.
So we purchase them from, for example, Dell's refurbishment program?
Correct.
And are you familiar with methods in which electronics can be recycled or reused?
I am. Like I said, we do a lot of that here just because we don't want those things into the programs or into those landfills, so we make sure that the things get taken where they need to be taken through the companies that we use. So.
Sounds good. Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions.